you have people that literally should be classified as domestic terrorists, because a lot of times that is what they are doing. They're engaging in domestic terrorism. And guess what? They all align with your side.
Yep.
Including the KKK.
Welcome back, Patriots. In today's episode, we're breaking down and exposing Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett's most recent unhinged interview, where she smears conservatives, like all of us, as being inherently violent. Here's the first part of what she had to say.
And
I remember.
It wasn't, because they try to act like, oh, political violence, it's the Democrats and it's the liberals. And it's like, actually, I mean, I'm not going to say that like a left-leaning person cannot be violent, because that would be like crazy to say that somebody can't be. But baby, y'all got the white supremacists galore, okay? Like all of them.
Well, the first problem here is this is the old classic bait and switch maneuver where she tries to downplay left-wing violence by immediately pivoting to the tired, overused, white supremacist talking point, ignoring the mountains of evidence, by the way, showing that left-wing political violence has been a significant issue in recent years. For instance, during the summer of 2020, we saw Antifa, Black Lives Matter, rioting and burning down businesses, causing over $2 billion in damages, making it the most costly period of civil unrest in American history. Cities like Portland, Seattle, Minneapolis burned for weeks. Police stations were torched, and entire city blocks, mind you, were reduced to rubble. That wasn't a fringe event. By the way, it was a national crisis, and the left wing largely excused it. But she goes on to say this.
You got the Proud Boys, you got the neo-Nazis. You have people that literally should be classified as domestic terrorists, because a lot of times that is what they are doing. They're engaging in domestic terrorism.
So let's break this down. Yes, the Proud Boys and the neo-Nazis do exist, but they represent a minuscule, a little piece of grain of sand, a fraction of the conservative movement. And I wouldn't even really classify them as conservative, to be fair. Meanwhile, actual domestic terrorism from the left is routinely ignored by people like Miss Crockett, the Democrat Party as a whole, the mainstream media. While you have groups like Antifa, which openly advocate for political violence. You have the Weather Underground, a leftist terrorist group responsible for bombings in the 1970s. Just recently, radical pro-abortion groups like Jane's Revenge have attacked crisis pregnancy centers and churches, yet the left barely acknowledge this as even a problem. Just like the border, it's a situation, it's a challenge, but let's not talk about that situation or challenge. Then she goes on to say something absolutely insane.
And guess what? They all align with your side.
Yep.
Including the KKK.
This is just factually wrong, by the way. The KKK was founded by Southern Democrats in the 1860s as a paramilitary group to terrorize, by the way, newly freed Black Americans and suppress Republican political power. This isn't conservative history. It's democratic history, by the way. Modern conservatism stands for individual liberty and limited government, which is the exact opposite of what the KKK's ideology of racial hierarchy and oppression is. But it doesn't stop there. I know it gets more wild from what she has to say. Let's continue.
So this is who aligns with that. So inherently in who you are, y'all are violent. Y'all, and most of your violence has to do with people that's got a little bit of melanin.
This is just a blatant smear, by the way. Conservatives believe in judging individuals by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. It's a core conservative principle, by the way, echoing the very words of Martin Luther King Jr. Meanwhile, the left has embraced identity politics, constantly dividing people along racial lines and promoting racial policies, race-based college admissions that judge people primarily by the color of their skin. But she has more unhinged stuff to say, believe it or not.
But nevertheless, y'all are a violent group of people. You attract violent actors. And I'm sorry, I know they tried to make Black Lives Matter out to be the most violent. What about Black Lives Matter? No. Well, yes, actually.
The facts do speak for themselves because Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 resulted in dozens of deaths, hundreds of police officers injured, and countless businesses, many minority owned, by the way, destroyed. But just because a movement claims to be about justice doesn't give it a pass for violence and destruction. But by ignoring it, the Democrat Party and mainstream media will give it a pass. She goes on to say that things failed and that they like to pretend. Well, here's again what she said.
So that's the thing. Like, they try to pretend like that. And so we had members that resigned because after they failed to vote for Jim Jordan as the speaker, there were people that got upset.
Who resigned? This is so vague and unfounded claim with no context or evidence. If we're going to talk about political violence and resignations, let's not forget that multiple Democratic politicians openly called for political confrontation. Remember Maxine Waters telling her supporters to confront Trump supporters out in public? Or Chuck Schumer threatening Supreme Court justices on the step of the court? This is the kind of rhetoric that actually incites violence, which we emphasized in my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. You can get yourself a copy at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. We break all it down. So Congresswoman Crockett, if you're going to throw around accusations of inherent violence, at least have the courage to address the full picture, including the rampant violence coming from your own side, because the truth doesn't care about your political narrative. And quite frankly, it's despicable that you're going to go in and spread misinformation. And I think this is disinformation because I know that she knows that she's lying here. But that's been a typical theme for the last 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration, folks. Let me know what you have to say about all of this in the comment section below. We have an hour-long podcast each and every weekday morning where we go over a bunch of different news and we break down everything that you need to know about. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and I'll see you next time here on The Will Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.